We are going to create a head group management project based on a large flag that is almost 1 meter wide and half a meter high. On the machine properties page, we select the machine model TMARBF. We select the frame drive, which is W, and also the amount of heads, 4 heads, the grouping style individual, and the embroidery area, which is 330 times 680. We will use a backdrop image for our project, which will help me to position elements. The size of the image is original embroidery size. On the Image tab, we click on Browse and look for the folder where we have saved the image. In this case, the backdrop is a JPEG image. The next thing we need to do is find the coordinates in order to offset the backdrop into the embroidery frame in the position where we want to have it. We see that the embroidery area of the frame, machine frame, is 1320 and in length, and the backdrop we would like to have it approximately in the middle of that frame. In order to find out the offset, we have to measure the distance between the top right corner of the image and the top right corner of the frame. The best way to do this is select the rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, and that's where we see the offset is about 167 times 112 millimeters. Those are the values we input in the X place and in the Y area. Once we click on OK, that will launch the preview, and we see that the backdrop is in the middle of our embroidery frame. We now load the first design element, which will be the main part of the flag, and in this case it's the tiger PXF file. We open it up, and this will launch it and show it in a preview. We want to embroider this only with embroidery head number 3, and you see it's not placed correctly, so we go into the edit mode. I will get rid of that little arc element there. We don't need that. We select all the segments of the tiger itself, and we will move it to the position which we can see on the backdrop image. That looks good. So now the tiger is in that position. We will save it with Ctrl S and have a look at the main tab, the head group 1. You can see once it's refreshing, the tiger is in the desired position. We can now go and close the tab of the tiger. It's a good idea to save our project. We will look for the folder where we want to save it. And as you can see, it's going to be an HGPROJ file. That's the project itself. Once this is done, we create a new cycle. This will be our cycle number 2. image launches the cycle 2. It's empty right now. We will now add the text, the top text, and embroider it with head number 3. We load, click on the load button and select the design element, in this case the Anthrax PXF file, which will place the whole text in my preview. Next step is to edit that cycle in order to position all the design elements we want to have embroidered on with head 3, position them in the correct place. So I have selected all of them, and in order to get more precision, we zoom in real big and then we move all these segments to the right position. Next, I will delete the first A of that text, select the elements of that A and delete it, and I will delete the last A as well, because we will embroider them with different heads while doing other design elements. Then we save the design and we can close that tab. As you can see here, now those text elements are in the right position, and we create the next cycle, which will be cycle number 3. Cycle number 3 we will embroider with head number 2 and load the image. It's going to be the last A of the text Anthrax. So you see, again, we need to edit this because it's not in the correct position. Select all the segments belonging to the text and replace it according to the backdrop position. Zoom in real big, and we can move it with more precision. Alright, and once this is done, we can now select all the other text elements that we don't need. As you have seen, they were done already with cycle number 2. So now I'm going to add the 2 crosses on the right and the little text Oaxaca, Mexico, which is on the bottom right. So I use the merge tool, a merge function. Select a file, 2 files in this case. So if I use the merge tool, it will ask me where do you want to position, in this case, the 2 crosses, and there is a transformation box around it, so it's very useful because you can place it in the right area already. And once this is done, you zoom in and we select all the text elements and move them to the right area. We will do the same with 2 crosses, which are appliques, by the way. Once this is done, we can save this, Control S, and we can close that tab. Once we close the tab, that should refresh the head group view, and we save our project, which we have done so far. And we will now go and add the last cycle, which is going to be the 2 crosses on the left and the uppercase A. So we load the crosses first. As you can see, we will embroider them with head number 4. We need to edit them in order to place them in the correct area. And we select both of these crosses. Again, these are applique segments. Place them in the correct area. Then we go again, we use the merge tool, merge function again, and select the Antrax text file. Again, you see the transformation box helping me to position it. And in order to get more detail, I zoom in and move it ever so slightly to the correct area. Once this is done, I can select all the letters that are not needed, they are done already. Control save, and we can close that tab as well. As you can see, it refreshes and all segments are in the correct position. This is the example of a large flag project.